Today, a global story is unfolding, one that could reshape the world economy. For decades, the US dollar has ruled international finance, giving America unique power. But now, a coalition called BRICS is challenging that dominance, sparking a very public economic rivalry. In 2025, President Donald Trump threatened major tariffs on BRICS countries, accusing them of trying to weaken the dollar. This has escalated into an economic standoff, with both sides defending their interests. The outcome will impact prices, savings, and international relations everywhere. BRICS represents a huge share of the world's population and economy, demanding more influence in global finance. Their challenge isn't just about money, it's about shifting global power. This is one of the most significant geopolitical developments of our time. BRICS began as an idea, an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, and China, four of the world's largest and most dynamic emerging economies. These countries, spread across different continents, shared a common goal: to amplify their voices on the global stage and challenge the dominance of established Western powers in international affairs. In 2010, South Africa joined the group, turning BRIC into BRICS and making the alliance even more diverse, both geographically and culturally. This addition brought Africa into the fold, further strengthening the group's global reach and influence. Formed officially in 2009, BRICS set out to boost the influence of emerging economies and provide a platform for cooperation on issues like trade, development, and global governance. The group's annual summits became a space for leaders to coordinate policies and present a united front on key international matters. To support their ambitions, they established the new Development Bank, headquartered in Shanghai, as an alternative to Western-dominated financial institutions. The bank funds infrastructure and sustainable development projects aiming to address the needs of developing countries. BRICS has consistently called for reforms in global institutions like the United Nations, International Monetary Fund, and World Bank, arguing that these organizations should better reflect the realities of today's multipolar world, rather than being dominated by a handful of Western nations. Recently, BRICS expanded its membership, inviting Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates to join. This new phase, often called BRICS Plus, marks a significant step in the group's evolution, making it even more representative of the developing world. With these additions, the BRICS bloc now represents over a third of the global economy by purchasing power, and its population covers a vast portion of the world. The group's economic clout is undeniable, influencing everything from trade flows to investment trends. BRICS is no longer a small club of emerging economies. It has become a major global player, shaping debates on development, finance, and international cooperation. However, the group's diversity is both its strength and its challenge. BRICS brings together democracies and authoritarian states, US partners and adversaries, each with their own interests and priorities. This mix can make it difficult to reach consensus on sensitive issues. Members often disagree on the group's direction, with some countries wary of turning BRICS into an explicitly anti-Western bloc, while others push for a more confrontational stance. Still, their combined economic weight and growing influence give them a powerful voice in global affairs, allowing them to shape the international agenda in ways that were once unthinkable for developing nations. The group's recent expansion signals a clear shift toward a more multipolar world, where power is distributed among several influential players, rather than concentrated in the hands of a few. As BRICS continues to grow and evolve, it remains determined to reshape the global financial system, challenge the status quo, and ensure that the voices of emerging economies are heard on the world stage. BRICS nations are increasingly vocal about their desire to reduce their reliance on the US dollar, a process known as de-dollarization. This movement is gaining momentum as these countries seek to reshape the global financial landscape and assert more control over their own economic destinies. The main reason behind this push is that the US dollar gives America enormous power over the world economy. The US can use the dollar as a tool, or even a weapon, by imposing sanctions that effectively cut countries off from global finance, trade, and investment. This ability to restrict access to the dollar-dominated system can have devastating effects on targeted nations. BRICS members like Russia, China, and Iran have all faced harsh sanctions in recent years, which have disrupted their economies and limited their access to international markets. These experiences have made them acutely aware of how vulnerable they are under the current system. For these countries, this vulnerability is not just an economic issue, it's a matter of national security and sovereignty. They want to protect themselves from external pressure and gain more economic independence, so they can make decisions that are best for their own people. BRICS leaders argue that the current global financial system, dominated by a single currency, is outdated and unfair. They believe it gives too much influence to one country, while the rest of the world has little say in how the system operates. Instead, they envision a multipolar world where several major currencies, including their own, play a significant role. This would better reflect today's economic realities, where emerging economies are growing rapidly and demanding a bigger voice. By using their own currencies for trade and investment, BRICS countries hope to cut transaction costs, reduce exchange rate risks, and make cross-border payments simpler and faster. This could also encourage more trade among themselves, strengthening their economic ties. But this push is about more than just money. It's about asserting sovereignty, increasing their influence on the world stage, and ensuring that their economies are not at the mercy of decisions made in Washington. Ultimately, the goal is to build a fairer, more balanced global system, one where no single country or currency dominates, and where all nations have a seat at the table. For BRICS, de-dollarization is both a shield against external threats and a bold statement of independence and ambition. That's why BRICS is determined to create alternatives to the dollar, and why their efforts are being watched closely by the rest of the world. As BRICS pushed for de-dollarization, the US responded aggressively. In 2025, President Trump threatened a 10% tariff on all BRICS Plus imports, calling their actions a threat to the dollar. This move targeted a massive volume of trade, escalating tensions. BRICS leaders called it tariff blackmail and rallied together. The US also imposed steep tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other goods from BRICS countries. These actions aimed to pressure BRICS into backing down, but risked sparking a damaging trade war. Tariffs can raise prices for American consumers and provoke retaliation. The standoff has made global trade more uncertain than ever. There's been talk of a single BRICS currency, sometimes called the unit, to rival the dollar. The idea, a stable commodity-backed currency for trade within the bloc, but the reality is daunting. BRICS countries have vastly different economies and political systems. Creating a shared currency, like the euro, would require deep integration, something BRICS lacks. At recent summits, leaders admitted there's no consensus on a common currency. Many fear it would be dominated by China's yuan, making others uneasy. Instead, BRICS is focusing on using national currencies for trade, an achievable step. For example, China and the UAE now trade oil in yuan or dirhams, not dollars. The dream of a BRICS coin is distant. For now, practical alternatives are the priority. While a single BRICS currency is unlikely soon, the group is making real progress with new payment systems. The goal, let BRICS countries trade directly, using their own currencies, bypassing the US-controlled SWIFT network. The BRICS Bridge platform, using blockchain and digital currencies, is in development. Project M-Bridge, involving China and the UAE, is already live, enabling instant cross-border payments. These systems let central banks settle trades in seconds, not days. The Chinese yuan now accounts for about half of all BRICS trade, a sharp rise. Globally, the yuan's share is still small, but within BRICS, it's growing fast. The real threat to the dollar is gradual. As more trade moves to these new rails, its dominance erodes. Change is happening, one transaction at a time. Despite the ambitious efforts of the BRICS nations to challenge the status quo, the US dollar remains the backbone of the global financial system. Its influence stretches far beyond American borders, shaping economies and financial decisions in every corner of the world. Nearly 89% of all foreign currency trades involve the dollar, making it the most traded currency by a wide margin. Whether it's a major corporation hedging risk or a small business making an international payment, the dollar is almost always part of the equation. The global foreign exchange market moves an astonishing $7.5 trillion every single day, and the dollar sits firmly at its core. This immense liquidity and reach make it the preferred currency for trade, investment, and savings worldwide. Over half of the world's central bank reserves are held in US dollars, far ahead of any rival currency. This dominance gives the US unique leverage in global affairs and provides stability for countries holding dollar reserves. US financial markets are deep, liquid, and trusted. Investors from around the globe flock to American assets, viewing them as the safest place to park their money, especially in times of uncertainty. Financial experts and economists agree, the dollar's dominance isn't going away anytime soon. Its network effects and the trust built over decades are not easily replicated. BRICS, despite its economic size, lacks the political unity and open, transparent financial systems needed to truly rival the dollar. Their currencies are not yet seen as reliable alternatives. Many BRICS countries maintain strict capital controls, limiting the ability of their currencies to flow freely across borders. This restricts their global appeal and prevents them from becoming true reserve currencies. De-dollarization is a real trend, with some countries seeking alternatives, but so far, these efforts have only made a small dent at the margins of global finance. Dislodging the dollar from the center of global finance will take decades, if it happens at all. The world's financial infrastructure is deeply intertwined with the greenback. For now, the dollar's power endures, providing stability and confidence in an uncertain world. The world's financial system still runs on greenbacks, and for the foreseeable future, the US dollar will remain the currency that connects us all. The BRICS dollar rivalry isn't just for economists, it affects everyone. Politically, it signals a shift from US dominance to a multipolar world. Economically, it could fragment the global system, creating parallel blocks and complicating trade. Tariffs and trade wars can raise prices for everyday goods, hitting consumers directly. If your country joins a bloc that reduces dollar reliance, local prices might stabilize, but uncertainty is rising. The rules of global finance are changing. Currency shifts can impact your savings, investments, and even travel costs. A weaker dollar could erode purchasing power. A stronger one could hurt US exports. The new currency war means volatility for businesses and individuals alike. The future is less predictable, but understanding these changes is crucial. The world's financial landscape is being rewritten in real time. In summary, the US dollar faces its biggest challenge in decades. BRICS Plus is building new systems and using their own currencies, seeking more control and independence. The US has responded with tariffs and pressure, but the shift is already underway. A single BRICS currency is unlikely soon, but alternative payment platforms are gaining ground. The dollar remains dominant, but its monopoly is fading. The future will likely feature multiple currencies and systems coexisting. The rules of global finance are changing, affecting economies and lives everywhere. This story matters to everyone, not just experts. The financial world of tomorrow will look very different. Change is here to stay.